here in the locker room with Billy Schweim on 97.3 ESPN and the 97.3 ESPN mobile app. Scotty McKay is with me today, as always, and broadcasting from his house, Scooter.
Yeah, this week 3.
The coronavirus has got us, broadcasting from separate spots, but we're getting by. We're doing okay. And hey, Scooter, it's time for the NFL draft. And we discussed in the first hour that wide receiver is probably the biggest need for the Eagles. Also, defensive secondary, and in particular the safeties, I think is a spot that the Eagles need to work on.
I'm even thinking linebacker. They're pretty weak. They really need to kind of fill that void with somebody in there. So without Bradham being back, I mean, there's a big void there at linebacker.
Jim Schwartz, the Eagles defensive coordinator, he likes the defensive rush. He likes the line rush, and he puts more stock in the rush than he does in the secondary. So I just hope the Eagles don't come out and try to be too creative and overthink the process. We need a nice safety. We just lost Malcolm Jenkins, and they're putting Jalen Mills in that spot. There's a couple good safeties that are out on the market. I don't know if they have to do too much movement, but you do. You think they should move up? If they move up, you're going to have to give
Howie's going to be aggressive. I know he might not work, but he's going to be aggressive.
And you're going to have to give up picks. But look, I think the number one need that the Eagles need is receiver. And I thought the only way you're going to get good information is from a great receiver himself. Is that true? Is that correct, Scooter?
Absolutely.
So let's go to the sports hotline and welcome in to the locker room our guy. He's a great friend of the locker room, great wide receiver for the Philadelphia Eagles, and he's a part of the broadcast team, Mike Quick. How you doing, Mike?
I'm quarantined.
No golf, huh, Mike?
I need to get out of here.
Mike, I think I put about 30 pounds on.
Yeah, I'm just making a path from my couch to the refrigerator,
The floor is getting worn down a little.
Yeah, it's just a path.
Yeah.
And, I'm starting to expand, but hey, that's how life goes right now.
Well, it's tough, but Mike, at least we have the NFL draft to look forward to. We have had really no excitement in our lives over the last 4 weeks, but it's pretty cool that the NFL will be able to liven it up a little bit with the draft on Thursday.
Yeah, 5 days away. That at least we'll have that. And although there's no real live sports, I'm sure we'll see a lot of highlights of a lot of these kids that are going to be drafted are coming out. So next week is fun because we at least get to start to look at the new talent and try and size up how they're going to affect the teams that they go to and all of that good stuff. So at least that's fun. And, I'm tired of looking at reruns of the classics and Miracle to Meadowlands #2 and The Greatest Game and all of that stuff.
I just watched that this morning, Mike. I just watched it this morning, and your call at the end was tremendous.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah, it was awesome. Because you know what? It was from the heart, a pure feeling of how you felt as being an ex-player at that time, and also, having the excitement of that. I think the kicker is still kind of looking at himself.
Yeah, that was crazy. How in the world, in that situation, do you kick to Deshaun Jackson? I just thought it was crazy.
Right. Well, I'll tell you what, Michael Vick showed me a lot there.
Oh, he was awesome in that game.
Yeah, tremendous.
They were all. I mean, it was such a great game. Jeremy Maclin had a great game down the stretch, but when Selig scored the touchdown early in the fourth quarter and they started that comeback, you could just feel that the whole place just felt different. So you knew something good was about to happen.
We're talking with Mike Quick, former Eagle great. Of course, he's in the broadcast booth with Merrill Reese. And Mike, you're a receiver. You know what it takes to play in the NFL. I thought that's why, since the Eagles' biggest need, I think greatest need is at receiver, that's why I wanted to get you on. Mike, there are a lot of receivers. This draft is supposed to be receiver rich. I want to ask you a question. When I was looking at all the, you look at all the top 10 guys on the draft board, CeeDee Lamb, Jerry Jeudy, Henry Ruggs, uh, Ty Higgins, Justin Jefferson, Chase Claypool, and etc. down the line. Mike, as a former receiver, size, speed, that's all well and good, but what do you look for?
Well, yeah, size, speed, you got to have all the measurables, especially when you've got this many guys. Everybody's going to pass on the measurable charts, but I think you got to look at some of the intangibles, and I would start with toughness. How tough is the guy, and how does he handle himself when the ball is not coming to him? Is he willing to block down the field? Any run that you see in the league or at any level that's over, say, 6 yards, you got to have blocking from the wide receivers. So, how aggressive is he as a blocker down the field? How does he catch the ball? Is he a natural receiver? Can he just catch the ball naturally, or does he fight at catching the ball? Is it a struggle, or is it smooth? And I like to look at their rhythm in and out of their cuts, how quickly they can get in and out of breaks. There are a lot of things but I think the biggest thing one of the biggest things that's missed on is how much a guy is willing to devote himself to being the best possible receiver that he can be. And you never really know that.
Mike, now with the fact that, it's all virtual interviews, I guess, you can't visit people face to face. This is going to make the draft team, their job a little bit more difficult.
Yeah, and those things that I just talked about, that's what you learn. A lot of that you learn when you're sitting face to face with guys. The intangibles, the things that can separate them. Just sitting down talking to a young man and trying to understand his why, the reason why he's doing what he's doing, that really helps in the process. And now that they don't have the opportunity to visit with these guys the way they've had in the past, it makes it more of a crapshoot. And it is a crapshoot. You really don't know what you're getting.
Hey, Mike, it's Scotty. Do you think there is a pretty good separation from the top 5-6 guys? Do you think there's one guy or two guys that stand out, a good distance above the rest of the guys? Is Judy the guy?
I just think that, I think Judy and CeeDee Lamb, I think Judy is probably in a class by himself. I think he's the best receiver coming out. I think CeeDee Lamb is probably, 1A. And then you've got still a lot of guys who are going to be very productive in the league, very good players, and Ruggs, Denzel Mims, guys like that. Jalen Reed out of TCU, he's really talented. And Bobby's right, there's so many talented guys coming out in this draft. So I think even in the second, third rounds, teams are going to get quality wide receivers because there are so many.
Right. Now, would you move up and try to get a Judy or a Lamb? Because you're not going to get him at 21. No?
I don't think so. I just think that there's so many that there's going to be a player that can fit the Eagles' need at 21. And when you look down the list, there are other guys that they're going to come into this league. They're going to be second, third round receivers that are going to come into this league, and they're going to be outstanding players and Pro Bowl type players and help teams right away. So with having 8 picks, and the Eagles have 8 picks, I think you want to try and use all of them, unless you get to your spot, your selection, and there's a guy that you have so high on your board and he's still there that you just go and get that guy.
Right.
We're talking with Mike Quick, former Eagle great. Of course, you can catch him in the broadcast booth calling the Eagles games. And Mike, like we just talked about, I got 10 guys on the list. I think my philosophy is maybe the Eagles should stay pat, or maybe trade down and get an extra pick, because we also have a need in the secondary.
I think there's a need in the secondary. I think there's a need at linebacker. They could certainly use another linebacker. The group of linebackers, they're all like, an ex-strong safety who's transitioned to linebacker, or a guy who is really a special teamer, and they've got several of those that are the situational guys. They don't have true linebackers, and I think that's a strong need. And the secondary, those two areas. I think they're going to be pretty strong everywhere else on defense.
I was looking at some film the other day since we have a lot of time on our hands. And I was looking at like a coach, I was breaking down film yesterday, Mike. You would have enjoyed that.
Yeah.
You know what was really impressed me? A safety out of Southern Illinois is Jeremy Chin. And the guy's he's got some size, 6'3", 219. But Mike, I like and he's not like over. He runs a 4.5 40, that's fast. But his closing, the way he closes on receivers and the way he fills gaps on blitzes and his ability to get to the quarterback on blitzes, I was really impressed with this kid.
Well, so when you look at the way this Eagles defense is constructed and what they're asked to do at that position, you want guys who are multidimensional, guys who can do a lot of things. So they're now calling them positionless players because they're so interchangeable, those guys in the secondary. And when you look at those big safeties, they really don't fit well to what the Eagles like to do. Because teams now, and the way they run offenses now, it's always 3 receiver sets and 4 receiver sets. So you almost got to have 4 or 5 cornerbacks on the field at one time, many times. Makes sense.
Totally makes sense. I mean, there's some good cornerbacks coming out this year. Obviously, Okuda is the big guy that everybody's looking at, and obviously going to probably go in the top 3 for sure. But Okuda, he'll be a top 5 pick. Yeah. Yeah, you got Gladney, you got Diggs, there's a lot of good cornerbacks in this draft, and some of them are going to slide down a little bit, possibly a 2nd round pick for the Eagles. But I like your thoughts on the linebackers.
Yeah, the kid out of what's his name? C.J. Henderson, I think.
Out of Florida. Yeah.
Yeah, really, really talented kid, and so I haven't. I'm not privy to their draft board, the Eagles draft board, but when they get to 21 and you've got a kid like that, or one of these kids that is really a top 10 talent, and if he's still there, then I wouldn't be surprised if they do something other than wide receiver. Now, we all may go crazy if they make a selection other than wide receiver at number 1. I think we'll all go crazy, but if they do, then you'll know that this is a kid that was really high on their chart, on their board, and because of needs of teams before them, that he just didn't get selected because the teams needed other players, and he's still there.
You mean we're going to have to go back and review the Donovan McNabb draft? To relive that?
Look at last year with DK Metcalf. I mean, he went after Arcega-Whiteside. And how'd they miss on that?
Well, it goes back to. I'm going to tell you a story. When you got time, listen. Where do you have to go? You got nowhere to go.
We're just going to the refrigerator and back. That's it, Mike.
That's right.
Exactly. So, in 1982, when I was drafted, there were 3 wide receivers drafted ahead of me, and none of them did anything in the NFL.
Who are they, Mike?
Lindsey Scott out of Lindsey Scott out of Georgia. Anthony Hancock out of Tennessee. He went to the Chiefs.
Wow.
Lindsey Scott went to New Orleans Saints, and Perry Tuttle out of Clemson went to Buffalo.
I remember him. He was the only one that did a little bit.
He had 25 catches his entire NFL career. I had that in a week.
A very little bit.
Very little bit.
I had that in 2 weeks.
Right.
So it's not. There's no exact science to this thing. You have to, you look at guys and look at the systems that they grew up playing in. You look at as many things as you can look at, but you can still go wrong. That's my point.
Yeah,
you can put in a lot of resources in trying to make the right selection, But at the end of the day, when you get to the NFL level, it's completely different than anything you've experienced prior to. And everybody can't make the transition, even the guys that are really talented at the collegiate level.
So let me ask you this. You're sitting there waiting to be drafted, and these three guys go in front of you. How you feeling
Pissed
when they
off.
go first?
Pissed off. To the highest of festivity.
All right, good. That's what we wanted to hear.
Were you sitting with the Stanton boys when you got drafted?
No, I wasn't. I don't know where they were.
Mike, now doesn't the NFL, don't they send out investigators to investigate the kids' backgrounds and check everything out about them to make sure? Did they used to do that back then, or do they still do it today?
They do. They did, and they will continue to. You're putting a lot of resources into these kids. You're investing a lot, especially in today's NFL. You're going to draft a guy in the first round. You're investing millions of dollars into him. So you have to do the background checks. You have to do as much homework to try and get to know these young men as much as possible before you invest that heavily into them. So you can bet you any of these guys that are going to go in that first, second day, there's been a lot of time spent on background checks and talking to people about them. I mean, they may even go all the way back to your grade school and talk to teachers. No, they do a lot. They do extensive research on these guys before they make these investments. And you can still go wrong.
And you can still go wrong. That's how it is.
Right.
All right, Mike. Listen, man. I wanted to get you off the couch, get your blood flowing a little bit before the draft, help you out in any way I can.
Well, listen, you go back in the film room and when you're finished all of your breakdowns and your studies, you can give me a list so I'll know who they should select.
Hey, Mike, his film said something about Dallas and something about Debbie. I don't know what that was.
Yeah, that's more likely.
Yeah.
All right, Mike. Listen, man, I really appreciate it. Mike Quick, thank you so much, and stay healthy. All right.
See you on the golf course when it opens up.
You got it.
There's Mike Quick, and what a great guy, huh, Scooter?
Great guy. He's a class guy.
Class guy. I love his call. Right before we had him on, we listened to his call with Merrill Reese at the Super Bowl. Did that bring back great memories, or what?
Absolutely.
All right, the second hour of the Locker Room is brought to you by the Great Bay Country Club, where it's not just golf, it's fun. Make Great Bay Country Club your club. Great Bay is an award-winning private golf club where you are greeted by name. It's home of the 3-hour, 58-minute round. You can play on their 18-hole championship golf course, enjoy fine dining experience, lively atmosphere in the pub. There's a full calendar of golf and social events throughout the season to appeal to everyone. For more information, go to greatbay.com or call them at 609-927-5071. Great Bay Country Club in Somers Point, New Jersey. See why it's always a great day at Great Bay. And, hey, you want to get your day started off with the best breakfast at the Jersey Shore? Look no further than Uncle Bill's Pancake House. Family owned and operated since 1962, Uncle Bill's Pancake House is a Jersey Shore tradition with 7 locations from Ocean City to Cape May. Featured over 30 types of pancakes, waffles, crepes. Uncle Bill's has something for everyone. From fresh cut fruit cup, gluten-free pancakes, or fluffy stuffed omelets that are excellent. You can't go wrong with anything on the menu. Go to Uncle Bill's Pancake House. 7 locations along the Jersey Shore, 2 in Ocean City. And I guarantee you'll get a great breakfast and fantastic service with a smile. Hey, Ocean City's real estate market is red hot. You need an agent that has the knowledge and expertise to help. Contact Ocean City's top agent, Mark Grimes. Mark has been selling real estate for 30 years in South Jersey. He can answer all your real estate questions and find you the perfect property. He's available anytime on a cell at 609-425-2042. When Philadelphia star athletes are looking for a house at the beach, they contact Mark Grimes, specializing in buying and selling vacation homes, single-family homes, condominiums and duplexes, residential and commercial, as well as new construction projects or investment opportunities. Mark Grimes, he's your agent at the beach. Give him a call right now, 609-425-2042, or check out his website at grimes.com. All right, when we return, we'll continue with more. You're listening to The Locker Room with Billy Schweim on 97.3 ESPN.